Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to stage Mr. Ace Berry.
What's up, guys? How are y'all? Y'all doing all right today? Well, I'm Ace Berry. I am from Texas. I learned something this week. We are right here. I am from right here. So, thank y'all for coming out. Thank you guys so much for one, just believing in your state association. This is amazing. Like after 2 years that we finally get to come back and fellowship with each other about flowers and events and everything. That is amazing. So this is all because of y'all. State associations, the floral industry starts where y'all are at. Y'all are the reason that I get to do what I love, which is educate and teach people. It is because of y'all. So give yourselves a round of applause. The other thing, this is very interactive. Y'all can talk to me. You can ask me questions. You can wave at me. I love every bit of that stuff, and that's how I thrive up on stage. I do need to thank Brock and Loran. Are they in here? I don't know if they are. There's Brock for Flower Shop Network. They are amazing. I got to meet them, I think 4 years ago, and they let me come in to their place and do flowers. Without them, none of this would be possible. Such an amazing company. If you have time, go check out their booth and talk to them. Best decision I ever made was moving my local, like my store, to Flower Shop Network. So without that, I also need to thank Rod and Cindy, Jackie, everyone from the Great Lakes Floral Association for their awesome hospitality and taking care of me while I'm here. So thank you to you guys. All right, so we're going to get started. We're going to talk about weddings from the Roaring 20s. So when you think of the Roaring 20s, what do y'all think of? Flappers, 1920s, right? No one really thinks that we're in the 2020s and it's the Roaring 20s because they are roaring for us. In the 2020, we all got shut down for a pandemic. So, I mean, it's been roaring the entire time. And now in 2022, at the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, all of our weddings have come back stronger than they've ever been. Like how many, you bet you got multiple weddings every weekend. So that is roaring. You're going to be pumping in the money. That's a great, great thing to have, especially with, you know, things happening in the world right now that we can't control, but people still need flowers. They need a ton of flowers too. So the first look we're going to talk about is this white look. Actually, this piece right here. So there's very little difference between funeral work and wedding work. Realistically, it's true. If you do a casket piece, you can do a sweetheart table. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. So this is what we would typically see for like a wishing arrangement where you're going to put your cards or their best wishes for years to come. And this is done on Oasis Design Ring. And you can see it's just very vegetative all around. What do y'all think? Also, it's great for a funeral work. It's for an urn or a picture of the bride. There's so many different things y'all can do with stuff like this. And all I did on here was I used a lot of the dry botanicals, and I wanted to do more groupings on everything. So if you see it, everything's kind of mounted into groups to give it all its own little section. And then I accented everything at the end with these garden roses. So what do y'all think? Yes, no, maybe so? Perfect. So then we went into these little guys. Actually, we'll talk about this one first. These are the eco dishes from Smithers Oasis. Love them. So I use these in my store a lot. The foam that is in that is called Agri-Wool. It's a more sustainable foam. I say at the end of all this, y'all come up and feel this. It literally holds the water so much well. There's no water in this dish, but inside this thing, it is super wet. So I left all of that exposed, and this is more for a rehearsal dinner. So how many of us have started doing more flowers for rehearsal dinners? 10 years ago when I got married, we didn't really do a ton of flowers for rehearsal dinners. It wasn't as big. Now it's like pushing. You got to have flowers everywhere and decked out because people want those. So again, on this one, I exposed the roots on this guy, on the hyacinth. because just to pull in the rest of the white and really pull it all the way down. And then I don't know if we'll come here so y'all can see this ag wool. This is the agar wool right here. And you can kind of see how wet this is. So, and then just worked into the Lisianthus as more of an accent flower, and the gerbs popping up, letting it be little flyaways to the iris, and then a little bit of dry botanical, pulling it all together. Like that. Ooh, don't fall. Sorry, I'm getting used to, I don't really have hips, so that was scary there for a second. It's like, same thing. So the other thing is, like, I like doing collections of stuff. So that's what these guys, at first, were going to be all collection. And then I did different sizes that we could tuck into places. The same thing. We used a jade rose. It's actually not jade, it's a lemonade, sorry. Trig dianthus with some of this beautiful fern, dried bleached fern. How many of y'all have seen that, the real big influx of dry botanicals into your flower shops, your everyday work too? No everyday work? Everybody's like, no, yes, yeah, yeah. What do you think of it? Do you like it? You do? Good texture? Yeah. So my flower shop, I bought a flower shop in 2016, and it was failing. It was really not doing well, and I turned it around to be the premier flower shop in my area. And what I did was all customer service base, and with the help of Flower Shop Network, redoing my websites and everything like that. It was magical, the turnaround that it happened. And it's, the designs are always great, but the business part of it was what was really helping me with them. So that I also did not, I used the Oasis Midnight Foam. Have y'all seen the Midnight Foam? Have y'all seen all the shapes of the Midnight Foam? So this is actually a cube. It fits in a 5x5 container already. And it's cut into a cube already. So a really great product. Did some yellow stock and then dried botanical, dried hops. And that is a lit candle. Ow. Sorry. It's been 2 years since I've been on stage. A little rusty. You know. You would think that full bloom would have made me more comfortable up here. Still get nervous. Still in the back with butterflies and stomachs all like, bruh. So, and then this guy right here. This, I wanted to do something more of like a, y'all do porch pots up here, and I'm enamored by porch pots. I wish we could do them. We can't in Houston because it's too hot. So I'm like, how am I going to, I wanted to make a porch pot so bad. So I just started shoving stuff in this thing. I was like, it's got to look like a porch pot. I don't think it does. But just did the dendros. I wanted it to have a lot of movement. Really vegetative was the whole look that I really wanted this to look like. I wanted it to look like it was just growing naturally, and wherever it laid, it laid. So, and that's kind of this. The beautiful Queen Anne's lace back into the fern again, and then letting this freesia sit tall. And then this is, I forget what that is. But then white Lisianthus, and then the lemonade roses again, spray roses and stuff like that. And then tie all of it together. If we didn't have this big monstrosity right here, it would be a nice little collection for your rehearsal dinner on the table where everybody can sit down and talk. And it's not too high where everybody can kind of talk across the table too. So now we get into these big boys. So I think it was last September. It was either September or October. I came up to Michigan for the first time. I was helping Doug with a wedding, and he had these things, and we moved them down the aisle, and I just fell in love with them. So when I found out I was coming up here, I called him. I said, hey, can you please bring the birch pole things? I've got this idea for them. I want to see. And again, going with vegetative, I literally, it is a ring, Oasis ring on the bottom, and then these are, I'll take it out so you can kind of see. Like this. And it is literally just set inside the ring, which is the perfect size. And then I had Sam, wherever Sam is, she might be in the back. I told her I wanted it very moundy with the hydrangeas first, and then I just wanted it to look like it was growing from everywhere. But the thing with growing from everywhere, I wanted it to grow in groups, because that's how things, it's not going to grow 10 feet away from each other. So we did that, put in dry botanicals, orchids, spiders, lemonade roses, calcinia, everything. Seeded uke. This is really for a runway down the aisle, or if they are in an event center like this, on the sides of the stages. So it literally frames in the bride so beautifully. These, I believe Doug got, I want to say at like Marshall's, something like that. there's so many places that you can buy things and you can reuse it, where we can be crafty and we can be smart about how we're going to make all of our money. And you'll see some of that later here in just a little while. So we're going to start bringing out some bouquets. And guys, y'all have got to, we need some energy. Yeah, come on. There we go. Oh, that's perfect. I love this one. I made this one. It's a big girl. I'm from Texas, so we make everything bigger. If it's not like a 20-pound bouquet, we ain't having it. So what do y'all think, guys? I love making bouquets. My favorite thing about weddings is walking in while the bride is getting like dressed and she's getting her makeup, and I want her to cry. It makes me literally that happy. No, it is not. It literally gives me the best feeling in all of the world, because you know you strike all of those emotions. And there's a thing like when someone wants to get married, they thought about that from the time they were 6 years old, the perfect day. So you know when they're crying, you hand it to them, you just nailed it. And you can walk around like, my chest gets bigger. I walk around like, yeah, it's the best day ever. So this guy, all I wanted was amount of flowers. There are no greens in this, no foliages. It is just flowers. I wanted it to be packed. So what do y'all think? A lot of nice movement. It's got a little bit of depth, but it's not so like Martha tight where we can't do anything else. So y'all can pass this around. What do y'all? Just fine. This is a heavy one. This is a Texas size bouquet right here. So this guy right here would definitely hurt someone. It's probably a good 4 pounds, I'm guessing. But they'll be all here so you can see them. Oh man, I'm just stacking this table awful. Boom. And then we have this one. Okay, so Sam made this bouquet. Sam came back to the back, and I was like, hey, you want to make a bouquet for me? She was like, sure, why not? I said, well, let's make it kind of loose, kind of fun, you know, half this, kind of controlled, which are a lot of words that don't go together. Loose and controlled don't go together. But I think she hit all those marks. How many of us are doing the bouquets right now? Like, boho is not fully out, but it's not fully in. So you're getting this kind of controlled, but just enough to say, hey, I'm here to party. That's what this is. Gorgeous dry botanicals. She has a hydrangea base in here. Started with this freesia to give that little bit of smell that you need, just that like sweet fragrance. And then the lemonade roses again. Then she's got this gorgeous Italian ruscus and fern. And then tucked in this Queen Anne's lace and scabiosa. And then a little bit of the dry botanical. So my weddings are now a lot of dry botanicals. People are really going crazy for them. And I'm here for it. I'm here for all the colors, the dry stuff, and you'll see that later. What do y'all think? Do y'all think Sam did okay? I do too. I was very impressed. Y'all have a lot of talent in this room and in this state. So, yeah, I would carry this. I love it. I mean, this is my passion is to teach people and have fun doing flowers, and y'all let me do that this week. So I'm happy. I made this one. This was literally, I made this at midnight last night. I have a rule when I do stage programs that I refuse to waste a flower. This flower gets its day, and it has its purpose. And I'm not going to throw it in the trash. It's going to be on display somehow. So everything I got, I used. So there were no flowers at all wasted from my section. So I did this thing. I do a thing called forever bouquets, and I send them around the country for people. How many of us do forever bouquets? Ever heard of it? You should. So look, this guy you can send off. Say you have someone that wants a wedding bouquet in Florida. They're from Michigan, but they want you to do it. You know that the fresh product is not going to make it, correct? So why not send them a forever bouquet? It's already dried. It'll ship well. And y'all can start doing it. This is probably a good $150. And it's easy. It took me 5 minutes to make. Could y'all sell that? Is it going to be every bride? No, it's not. But it could be every 5th bride. And it shows your talent and who you are as a designer and as a creative. So this one I will let you pass around. That one's not going to hurt. It just looks big. So that's got bleached Italian ruscus, Israeli ruscus. It's like a seafoam kind of status, some fern, bunny tails, a bunch of hops in there. And all of that movement, lots of times when you're trying to do those, it's hard. They turn out flat. The best thing is like you have to kind of shake it and let that air get back into it, and it loosens it all up. And that's how you'll get like a nice round look on those. Cool. So, all right. So back to more fresh product. So I had a bunch of pink that I did not know what to do with it. Fun fact about me, pink is my favorite color. I love it. I love wearing pink. I look good in pink. It makes my eyes sparkle and makes me look thin. So I had a bunch of these tulips. Actually, these tulips were out in the hallway, and I was like, okay, again, I refuse to waste flowers. I went and took all the pink tulips, all the pink rice flower, all the pink snaps, the lilies, and I was like, I'm going to make a sweetheart table. How many of us on this thing do we have the bride that comes in 3 days before her wedding? I have $500. It's very intimate. It's just my family. I need something for a table and a bouquet. And if y'all are not raising y'all's hand, I know y'all are lying. Every one of y'all, I know it. So that happens to me a lot. Like people are last minute. We want them to come in a year in advance and be like, we want a $20,000 wedding. Here's my credit card. Pay for it now. That's not what happens. It never happens that way. What happens is they come in 2 months before their wedding, like, I have a budget of $5,000. Or you get the next person, which is, my wedding's this afternoon. I need an arrangement and a bouquet. This is the color I want. Well, grab and go. I heard that. Yes, I like that. Grab and go. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I'm with it. So being that I've had that happen a lot in my area, my store is actually 45 minutes west of Houston. So it happens a lot. I have a lot of people that go to the Justice of the Peace and get married, and then they want to go to a nice restaurant after that, and they want to take flowers and put that out. So this is kind of what I was talking about that we do. This is a Smithers Oasis black tray, and then it's 2 blocks of foam, and then everything I just kind of start tucking in. There's no foliage in this either. So this is maximizing their budget. If they say they want to spend $500, you try to get them to spend $600. That's just the way we have to do it. The more money you make, the better your business is, the nicer stuff you get to have, the cooler places you get to go. That's why we all got into this industry. That's why we got into this business. Will we realistically ever be millionaires? Probably not. Will we have an awesome life that's creative, that we love? Yes. Yes, we will. So that's all that you can ask for, like that amazing part of it. So the tulips were all the opposite direction yesterday when I made this. They've all perked up and look beautiful now. And then the snaps, same thing. It's got gorgeous carnations in here, which is my favorite flower. If you don't like, yes. There's so many beautiful kinds. I was trying to get cosmic carns, and I couldn't find them up here. I was like, ugh. But anyways, that being said, it's got some awesome spray roses, lilies, tulips, all kinds of fun stuff. It's very lush and romantic. And that's the whole thing. Like when you have that nice romantic, use keywords when you're trying to sell the weddings. When you're in there, they're looking for your expertise. So use descriptive words like romantic, lush, beautiful, sexy. There's so many different words that you can use that can sell flowers. But if you're like, oh, we can do this arrangement, you're not giving them that extra oomph that they need to say, okay, I believe in this person, this flower shop, to know that they're going to hit all of my needs. So just try selling it as really descriptive words. So it's this one. So being that was on a budget, I had Doug last night make a tight tussy mussy, and we saw these in the 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. Flowers, fashion, all of that stuff runs on a 20-year cycle. What you saw in the 80s came back in the 2000s. What you saw in the early 2000s, you're going to see in the 20s. It's always like that. Hairstyles do it. Fashion, everything. So I just told Doug I wanted something that was real easy, fast. They're in and out. You just got to get it done quick and get it out the door. Charge them $100, you know. So that's what he did for me. What do y'all think? Really tight. And there's nothing really exotic about this. It's not. But we have to make money too. So there's that. The next one we're going to talk about, what time? Making sure I speed talk really bad, so I have to always kind of check my watch to make sure I'm not speed talking. Next one we're going to talk about is this peach stuff. How many of us are ready for peach, burgundy, and blue to leave? Y'all can clap. Especially peach. I'm tired of it. I have literally probably done 30 blue, peach, and burgundy weddings. But it is pretty. It really is a pretty kind of color combo. Went back into same thing that we did over there. This one's just a little bit more structured. So I did it where you have this opening, wishing thing. I don't know what they're called. Does anybody know exactly what they're called? Do you remember what they, like, it's not wishing well, it's where you put your cards. It's like a gift box. Yeah. So that's kind of what this is. Oh, there's an ugly bloom. Again, just like that, you can also put picture, blah, 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 all that fun stuff in there. But the main thing that I've actually sold a ton of on these guys this year was tablescapes. I've sold a ton. How many of us are selling tablescapes? How many of us tried to sell tablescapes? None? Okay, so tablescapes, instead of us just always going, okay, well, you're going to put a garland on your table, and we're going to do votive candles or blah, blah, blah across it, try to make it where it's an experience. So when someone's looking at this table, there's something new every second as it winds through there. Make it where it is. It's an experience to be at this wedding. So that's what we did here. I did the lanterns, and I just made arrangements, made it look like where it's going to weave through here. Typically, I would also try to have something hanging down to really entice them to sit at that table and take in all of the blooms, smell it, look at it, touch it, and all those things. This is gorgeous. Can you see through it? Kind of. But it's that experience of that you're going to talk to the person next to you and have a good time at this wedding. There's my favorite rose is in here. It's a Kahala rose. I used it actually on the show in my final room. It's my favorite rose because of that. It's got gorgeous calcinia, spray roses, cremones, delphinium, hydrangea, all kinds of gorgeous flowers, really elongating the whole table, giving you that thing. The cool thing about this is like you could put this in other places. You know? You could do a tablescape but on the bar. Make it fun, like try to direct where people are going to go into a wedding instead of just stay, most people go to the bar and stay there, camp there, if it's open bar. So it makes it a little easier. You can kind of direct those things. Try to find out the double uses on things. Oh, I forgot this red stuff. Sorry, my bad on that. But what do y'all think? Okay, good, yes, no, maybe so. Too tall? Who thinks it might be too tall? Yeah. A little too tall? Really? We'll buy you platform shoes. I got you. I got a shoe addiction. I know just where to get them. No, I agree, though. I've had it. I can see that. You have to always be comfortable, but kind of let those people decide if it's going to be too tall. I think a lot of times as designers, what we do, I do a lot of times, I try to direct them into where I want them to go, and you almost hinder yourself sometimes when you do that, because you can always sell this same thing. It's because it's what's comfortable, so we try to push. What do we bring out? Oh, those. I'll do those in a second. Okay, so my forte is actually tropical flowers. That is my love. That's the first thing I could ever design because I had big hands, and I was not gentle. So the first things I ever started designing was tropical flowers, tropical weddings, just because it was easier for me because I could get really structured with it. I didn't really learn how to do vegetative designing until probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I just wasn't comfortable with it. I wasn't good at it, and I had to really take time to study and focus in on other designers that were really, really great at it for me to learn how to be a vegetative designer. But this is back to when I first started. This is how I designed everything. And it's you can tell it's structured. It's very architectural and stuff like this. These are for that artistic person that wants those lines. And you know when you get those in, they have a clear-cut path of what they're looking for. It's also got the good groupings, the great lines coming out with the anthurium and your ginger kind of carrying that red into the container, that black container. This is all done up with Oasis foam. I have stripped all of these carnations to make like a sugar carn or a sugar daisy. It depends on what it is. And all of the carn petals are in into the vase to give you that blast of red in the bottom. So there's so many things. These did not want to do it, but you can peel these like so, and it'll open up like a daisy almost. Or like it's leucadendron? Like that. Looks similar to that almost. Like that. So great for competition work. I know there's some, who competed in here? So it's good like competition kind of stuff that you can, it's a different way you can make a flower look awesome. So, and then Doug had some gorgeous birch branch. I think he got it from James, and I wanted it to really pull in the height stuff. So we tend to make things the way we look or the way we feel that we appear. So I always feel like I'm really tall, and I'm not. But I always want it to be that. So now we'll get into these bouquets. Trying to make sure that I'm not going to run over. I did not cover a lot of my bouquet handles because I wanted you to see kind of the mechanics of stuff that I did to them. How many of us do this? So this is just a tight. This is kind of what I would do if I was doing competition or a very architectural wedding like this. It's very straight lines. It's got good movement, but it's not literally lushed out with what they're really looking for. So, but say they want a hand tied. I took all of my stems and redid them, popped them, and made it into a hand tied where it's easy to cover and fast. Typically, I didn't find Galix literally until this morning. So I'd put Galix around here to cover all of this so you wouldn't see it like that. But what do y'all think? Good color tones? Yeah? Perfect. Let me see what else we have. Oh, there's the other one. Oh, who made this one? I'm trying to remember who made this one. I do not remember who made this. I did not make this one, but I'm trying to remember who. What do y'all think? This is, again, kind of like that controlled. It's nice, like lushed in, stacked in there. Gives you a lot of depth and dimension. And then I love the things called like flyaways. I learned that literally on Full Bloom. They're like, oh, these little flyaway moments. I am not that person. I'm like, what is a flyaway moment? I'm like, looking at them all crazy. I'm like, I have no clue what that, but I learned it real fast. So these little flyaway moments with these ranunculus that are gorgeous, that peach tone into the stock. Again, giving good fragrance, blasting that really awesome blue of the thistle. So I just love this. Like that. No, I think like that. Like that. Say that? Oh, y'all. Well, they're being, no. What do y'all think? Yeah, it is good. It was either Liz or Sam made this, I believe. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was Liz that made it. I was like, I couldn't remember which one, but I knew it was one of them. It's gorgeous, right? Y'all have a lot of talent here. This is, I would toss this, but I'm afraid I would break something. So, yeah, I fell in love with this. Liz came over, and she's like, what can I help with? I'm like, can you make a bouquet? And I was like, what is your experience level? She's like, I've done this, this, and this. I was like, perfect. You make a bouquet for me. And she actually made the two outside parts, and then she finished off my middle section for the run, for that tablescape. But I love it. Let's see this one. Oh, this is Doug's midnight masterpiece. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Nope. It's all hand-tied. Yes, ma'am. She wants to know. Hey, the more questions you ask, the more. Okay, I made Doug, when I tell you, I made him do a Texas-sized bouquet. Michigan represented on that. I was like, hey, man, I need it Texas-sized. He's like, okay. So I wanted him to do this very lush, like Martha wad, but I also wanted it to almost be like a bead mire with this, like, all this on the outside edge and really round. This sucker it's not, I don't know if it's that I'm just kind of used to them, but it's actually not as heavy as what I thought it would be. But then he, like, everything, the way it's grouped in and all the colors, they just play so well with each other, and they really do look, like, it looks sexy. Like, it's just one of those things, like, I would love to see this, not even just as a bouquet, but like a bouquet for the home. Yeah. I'm gonna let y'all pass this around. This is, like, Doug did an amazing job on this. When I talk with my hands, and I'm like, oh, no, let's like this, and I'm like waving my hands in the air, and he was like, I have no clue what you mean. But this is stuff to us. What do y'all think? Give Doug a round of applause. I'm going to talk about Flower Shop Network. I think I have a couple more. Yes. Flower Shop Network real fast. I will let y'all know there's some awesome things that Flower Shop Network's just put out. How many of us have Flower Shop Network websites? Raise your hands. I will be the first person, and it's not because they sponsor this program or anything like that. It was the best decision I've ever made for my business. Hands down, like, I will sing their praises. Even if that wasn't up on the stage for them right now, they were the best decision I ever made as a small business. I've made more. I've called them, like, here's a true test, Valentine's Day week. I called, and I was like, guys, something's going on with my Apple Maps. How many of us have iPhones? How many of us know how to use the iPhone map? Yeah, not me. So I called them, I'm like, guys, it says that my shop is temporarily closed. I don't know how that happened. This is Valentine's Day week when we're supposed to be making. So the IT department instantly gets on, fixes it, and they call me back and they say, hey, you're done. You're back up and running. They're always there to answer the phone. No matter what time it is, there's someone, it's a real person answering the phone. You're not getting some automated system or anything like that. So what's that? I've never waited an hour and a half. They are amazing. But they have this new wedding form coming out. How many of us really kind of get tired of, like, we get pulled away, hey, can I do this wedding consultation? Or they come in and they're like, oh, do you have time to talk about our wedding right now? And it's Valentine's Day week or Mother's Day week, or you have sometimes something going on that you have to be busy, and they want you to sit down and give them 2 hours of your time to talk about their wedding, right? We don't have that. So they are releasing a new form for your website that will direct them to that, where they can fill out the form, and you can set up the time to go meet with them. And it does it all for you. So something to go look at their booth, talk to Irving, talk to Cindy. Amazing guys. They're going to give you all the time that you need to really explain the websites. They're amazing, amazing people. I will say on this plug too, they do not take anything from you. I get 100% of my orders. This is the best Valentine's Day I've ever had. This is last February, and I'm completely open and honest about everything I do. I made $53,000 that month. And it's because of Flower Shop Network. I don't have to turn off my website. They make sure that I'm going to maximize my money, you know? And that's just a good thing. So I do recommend going and talk to them. They are amazing people. Brock is right there. He is amazing, and they will give you the time. They are amazing people. So on that, this other bouquet, this one I know that Sam made, and I told her I wanted it to be extremely boho. I don't want really any control on it. I want it to dance and wiggle and move. And she hit all of those parts. I literally, do y'all know Sam? Who knows Sam? We want to push Sam to go test for AIFD. Is Sam in here? Is Sam in here or no? She left. When y'all see her, y'all tell her, you need to go test for AIFD. She's ready. She's extremely talented. So I love it. I literally said, I just want it to fit into this color palette. You use this, whatever it is. I do want it to have these kind of chocolatey Queen Anne's lace, and I want it to dance. I want it to, like, if I'm walking down the aisle, I want this sucker to bounce. And she hit all the points. I fell in love with this. It's probably my favorite bouquet that I've seen that was made, just because she was like, hey, can I just help? Then she made this, and I was like, oh, yeah, you can help me with a lot of stuff. Don't try to go work for anybody else this weekend. So she made this. It was extremely awesome. I loved every minute of it. I know I've got some stuff. So what do y'all think, guys? Perfect. Oh, Doug's giving me the wrap up. Wrap it up. But I got some other stuff. I don't listen to him. Oh, this was not in this face. Oh, perfect. Oh, this is, oh, I should have held this one off, but it's okay. No, I'm going to talk about this one, but I'm also going to talk about these back here first. Okay, so actually, I'm going to set this here. I'm going to talk about this back stuff. I don't know if y'all can see this. I do recommend y'all come up and see this stuff up here. How many of us have sold broken arches or some type of arch that's separated like this? Yes. And you probably paid an arm and a leg to get piping and drapes, correct? And it's really painful when you buy that stuff and you have to cut it in half to get one side of it shorter. But you just paid for all this other stuff. So I am very big into being cost effective. Just take a wild guess how much, not the flowers, just the mechanic part of it, that costs to make. Both of those. Less. 98. That is 2 tampers from, do y'all know what a tamper is? A tamper is a weighted thing that you smash dirt to pack it in. That is 2 tampers on each side, or 1 tamper on each side, and then garden stakes wrapped in chicken wire. The whole thing is less than $100 for both of those. I rent those out for $500. So we want to make money, right? That's how we. So this, and I want y'all to come up and see them and see. They're weighted. I know Syndicate has a new thing too. They're like water bags that if you need a little extra weight, if it is windy, I would something like that to put on the bottom. So these guys, this is a cage up here and a cage right here, and then one on the floor. And it's just done very bright colors. I love color. I love bright colors. I like really bold color choices. And so this is what I wanted to, and I wanted to mix my 2 worlds of me learning how to do this like kind of gardeny vegetative design, then with some tropicals. And what do y'all think? Looks good? Sorry. So that's both of those, and it's got draped. I brought some Southern Smilax from Texas. Do y'all like using Southern Smilax? Do y'all know what it is? It's, yes, ma'am. Oh, yes. Sorry. Okay. So there's those, and then there's all the way down. These are from Callaloo, and I looked at Doug. He posted pictures because he just went to market, and I was like, hey, can you bring those awesome lanterns? I need them for this program up here. He was like, yeah, I'll bring them. So, and then you just build out this moment. Typically, they would be closer in, and just think about the bride standing in between there and the groom standing there and getting all of that and all the pictures being taken and how gorgeous that's going to look because you built this moment. Not everything has to be pounded flowers 10 foot out. You can build it with your rentals, and you can buy in things like this and use them as rentals. That's like the smartest thing I would tell you. Use your rentals, use your resources. When you see stuff and it inspires you, buy it, figure it out. It might take you 3-4 years to figure out what you're going to do with it, but there are things that I've sketched and things that I've bought that I'm like, I'm going to use it one day. And it just goes into a closet, and then I'm like, I have the perfect thing. So, and we all do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. And people that say you're a hoarder or whatever else, they don't know what they're talking about. My wife is included in that statement. So, yes. So, I have the bouquets. Let's do the bouquets real fast. I know I'm running 18 minutes. I'm going to be speed talking now. Okay, so Heather came. She's helping me out, and I said, Heather, I want you to just make this. And she was in her head. Oh, I don't know. She was overthinking. I said, here's the thing about design. How many of us are brand new in the floral industry? Brand new? 3 years? No, that's what you're pretty. 1 year? 1 year? How many times when you're designing stuff, you get in your head and you're like, oh my God, and you're stressed, and it gives you anxiety, and you get this pit in your stomach? I'll tell you the best thing I ever learned was to breathe. There's a lady from Ohio. Her name is Mary Linda Horn, and I used to get like that. And she said, just take a step back and breathe. Because there's nothing that you can do that's going to mess up. Like, just take it apart and retry it again. The greatest thing is you can have is grace and breathing, and do those, and it's going to be amazing. So Heather helped put this together with her good friend over here. He showed her the Smilax, and then just added in the groupings and stuff like that. Look at this bouquet. It's gorgeous, and it's very tropical and very lush. So I really love what she made here. Yes. Okay. I don't know where the vase is for that one. Pete, I'll let you have that. Thanks, sir. Oh, there it is. I hit it for myself. Okay, this one, I did not cover off my mechanics. How many of us have used the European bouquet holder? Yes, the square or the round one. How many of you knows that foam is this thick and it breaks and after you've already got it halfway done and it breaks and you're so mad at yourself that you have to restart it? Right here. So this is what I do to make sure it does not break. I wrap it in foam. Usually I have Dixon pins or stuff like that and I pin it to itself so the foam is kept together. So if it does break, it's still held all together. And I'll let y'all pass that around. So typically I would have that all covered in Gaelics and everything, but I wanted y'all to see this because I've spent many a time mad at myself that I've broken one and I have to restart. There you go. And then it's just lots of angles, very architectural, very tropical, but then it has the good tulips and stuff and making them move around. So we can start getting her the other stuff. Okay, so Doug, who took Doug's class? He's amazing at what he does. So Doug made this armature. I'm going to keep this one, Pete. Perfect. Okay. He made this armature out of birch. And I was like, dude, we're using that. He, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, not we're using it. I was like, let's just do this. I love all this movement. I think if, like, I was going to get married to someone, this is what I would want. Like, it really is. Like, this speaks to me because it has, like, this organic feel of these branches, but then it's so me of, like, this nice architectural lines, and it's got these lush roses and the orchids and stuff like that, that is my favorite orchid, which is an oncidium. And I just love I love that it makes me feel powerful. Like, lots of flowers should make you feel powerful, you know? So Doug did an amazing job on that. I will tell you all this, Doug is a very humble person. And he doesn't think he's as good as he is. And I am on these stages because of Doug. Hands down, because of Doug. Like, I will get choked up because Doug is one of my favorite people in all the world. He is my brother from another mother. When Doug and I got inducted, lots of people asked him to travel, and he wouldn't do it yet. And so I was the second choice. That's how incredibly talented this man is. Guys, y'all should lean on him. Lean on him when you have questions. Call him, message him. He is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to plants and flowers. And y'all have so much of that here in this state. There's the great, where's she at? There she is with that black hat with Alex Waterous. There's so many, James, there's so many talented designers in this area. Reach out to them. They're a wealth of knowledge. They can teach you so many awesome things. And they would love to teach you. Don't be afraid to ask. Believe in yourself, believe in your career, believe in everything that this industry can give you. It is that great. I will be the happiest man if I get to die one day behind my design table. That is my favorite place to be in all of the world. Besides the stage, that is my favorite place to be. I love what I do. So thank you guys. Okay, there's chair. Let's get this guy. I got one thing to make still. So I've made a ton of headdresses. Has anybody ever seen any of the headdresses I've made? I get asked all the time how I make them. I've never shared it with anyone. Never. Y'all are going to be the first people to ever see me make them live. And I have it halfway done, and we're going to get this in. I have 12 minutes to get the rest of it done. So I have part of it pre-done. Welcome, Heather. She made the bouquet earlier. Give her a round of applause. All right, here you go, ma'am. Oh, you can, but I would wait on that. Just don't make that thing fall out yet. I know, that's perfect. Okay. All right, so Doug, if you would like to come up and you can kind of ask questions. Y'all ask questions if I can't hear you, if I don't say something. It's because I'm trying to get it done quick. He'll just yell, Doug, or Ace, and then I'll try, okay? So the secret to most of this is it's all tension. Tension is like how all of it's held. It's held in by bobby pins, but bobby pins aren't the strongest thing to when you're putting in a headpiece. It's all tension. This is a heavy gauge wire that I did a shepherd's hook, pierced it, and wrapped it all the way down. They're slid through her hair, it's done with a chicken wire and a midnight foam, wrapped in a cage, and then it is pierced through this side, and made another shepherd hook on this end. So when I pull it back through her hair, it literally locks in with tension, and it makes it very secure. So it's not going to fall out. And then this is on a wire, so we can shape this to wherever we need it. Okay? So what we're going to add in now, we're going to get this finished product going. What do y'all think of it so far? So, how many of us would love to sell this to a bride? Count me in. And it's probably never going to happen, but the fun part about flowers is that they want to know that you can do it. You know? So that's kind of what we always have to do. They have to know that we can make stuff like this.
That was one of the things that I said in the class, for those of you who were in the class yesterday. You're not going to sell it every single day, but by golly, when the bride comes in that does want that, you know that you've got the mechanics, you know how to do the mechanics behind it so that you can sell it and you can sell it well.
These came from Will, correct? Was it Will? What's
Christian's Greenhouse.
Christian's Greenhouse. Yes. I told her I needed some anthurium. She was like, okay, hold on. She literally made a call. She's like, hey, how much do you love me? Which is kind of how I talk to my wholesaler too. Like, hey, how much do you love me? Because I always forget to order something last minute, or they're like, all right, Ace, hold on. Yes, he did. Yeah, so it's a piece of Black Oasis Midnight foam. You can use any foam. It doesn't have to be Midnight. This just made it better because of her hair coloring is super dark, so it kind of disappears, and it's not as hard to cover. With green foam, you have to really be deliberate about trying to make sure all of it's covered. It's wrapped in chicken wire, and then it's pulled together with zip ties. And then underneath, I had her put a bun, a very tight bun on the back side of her head, and it's actually kind of right where my fist is at, so back here. And it's set in there, and then you start bobby pinning it. And you make it tight, and you literally, because as designers, how many of us when we're inserting the foam, we can feel it, and you're like, oh no, that's not the right spot. This, you have to be able to have a good conversation. It's very intimate, if that makes sense, because she can tell when it's loose, I can't. So when I'm designing it, I have to talk to her nonstop, like, hey, how does this feel on this side? Is it loose? Is it wiggly? That's so it's perfect when she gets up and she can move her head and turn and look and stuff like that. Because it's horrible when you get those images, and every image that you have of a headpiece, most of the time, the person has to have their hand right here. The reason they have to have their hand right there is because they can't move it because that thing's going to fall off. So that's kind of where, you know, we have to kind of figure it out and figure out those things. There is no water in this. So this is strictly for event. If not, it would be all over her. It would. I would love to say it would have water all the time, but most of the time it is for a photo shoot. But again, they want to know you can do it. That's like the whole thing. There are other things that you can do for that. You could use Smithers Oasis glue, and it's got minerals in it that it'll last a little bit longer. But if it is for an event or for a wedding, it's going to last all night. It'll last the night. And I always try to use hardier flowers, things that I know are going to last. If I do use roses or things like that, I try to tuck them in deep and tight, so if they do go down, you can't really tell. So, I have. It's hard to do them ahead. I've done other kinds ahead, but it's a little more difficult. It has to be that certain bride. Like I have one coming up in June that she's like, yes, I think I want it, Ace. Well, slowly as it's getting close to her day, she's like, I don't know. You know, at first it's like everybody's like, it's the same thing that always happens. At first, when they sign up, I want a $20,000 wedding. And as it gets closer, well, maybe it's 10. Well, maybe it's 5. You see what I'm saying? So they just want to see that you can do that. And how much time do I got? Oh, yes. I love it when things work out. And I want y'all guys come and take pictures, ask me questions. You see me around, ask. I'm an open book. I'll tell you whatever I know. If I don't know it, you have people like Jerome over here, Doug, ask them. They'll know. Tom Bowling in the back. There's a lot of us here. So. All right. Give me a second.
Not going to take a bath the rest of the weekend.
Ooh, that knife would have hurt. Now, I will tell y'all these stock are not going to last, but it's the color that I needed.
Try.
If I have to refresh it, we are. Ooh, these tulips are gorgeous. I tried to convince when I was on Full Bloom to let me make one of these, and they wouldn't let me. I was so upset. I was like, oh. All right, let me see. Oh, yeah, I think we're done. What do y'all think, guys? Yeah. Guys, with that being said, thank you so much for having me. Y'all's hospitality has been amazing. And thank you to literally my brother from another mother, Doug, for picking me up from the airport. Thank you to Samantha for helping me out. Thank you to Liz, to Heather, the girls for popping in bobby pins. Thank you to Brock and Loran for literally believing in me. Did y'all know this is the first time they've ever sponsored a flower program? It's always business. It's the first time. Thank you for believing in me that I could do this for y'all. And you guys, again, none of this, what y'all always need to know is none of this is possible without y'all. It starts with y'all, that y'all believed in y'all state and y'all believed in this industry. For that, I'm humbled to be a part of this, and thank you so much for letting me come. Oh, and thank you to the Great Lakes Floral Association for having me. Thanks, love you, man.
Awesome. Well, Ace, thank
Get up
you
and
so
model,
much.
girl.
I think
Here.
that you've certainly
Ready?
wowed
Get
us.
up.
We're certainly inspired. We can't wait. Yeah, Heather's definitely going to be wearing that to the banquet
Don't
tonight
sit it.
because we all want photo ops with that, right? Right? Thank you so much to Flower Shop Network for sponsoring this amazing program. Make sure that you all stop by. The trade fair is still going on. Check out that. Make sure to speak to all the vendors there. We will, if you haven't signed up for your place setting for the banquet tonight, make sure to get that done so that you know where to go once you get back into this room. We're going to be here. We'll have the program and everything. Going to be fantastic. Good food. We are going to be wowed again. So thank you so much, guys. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you here in just a bit. There is another business event happening in the lobby with Ryan. Ryan Freeman from Strider and BloomNet.